wonder, looking at Oklahoma's performance, and it finally came to roost this past Saturday against a quality team where, okay, they've been hanging by a thread.
Mhm.
Are they going to make it through, or is it going to be too much for them? And it's obviously turned out to be, um, when they face the best team on their schedule thus far, they they weren't even that close. And
Yeah,
and,
no,
and
that's what I was gonna say. The game, I mean, I know that the 27-13 score, kind of allows the game to look like it was close, but, after the 7-0 lead, Baylor pretty much dominated that game from that point forward. Had almost 300 yards rushing, um, in the game, and yeah, like I said, you're right. The first ranked team, I think Texas might have been ranked when they played, but the first, team that's still remaining that's ranked, Oklahoma, and just didn't play very well. Some of the things that and it's a lot of the same things that they've had in the past. Defensively, open field tackling has continued to be an issue. Getting pressure on the quarterback has continued to be an issue. I think there's concern to maybe Oklahoma's, the speed D kind of mentality that Alex Grinch had kind of brought to Oklahoma in terms of lighter, faster defensive linemen. They get pushed around a little bit in the trenches, and so that's been that's continuing to be a concern. And like I said, Oklahoma having the two probably the two most talented teams in the Big 12 remaining. Baylor's, one of the things that was very interesting, kind of over the last couple of years, Oklahoma has had a pretty wide gap from a talent perspective versus all the teams that they've played in the Big 12. Some of them weren't as wide, like an Oklahoma State or a Texas, but that you can tell that talent gap is closing in a little bit. You specifically Baylor and Oklahoma. But I think the same can be said against Iowa State and Oklahoma State as well. So, and I think, Mark, that the area, and there's been a couple of comments around this, so which made me kind of, I think the thought process here is, and I think this is where people kind of get rubbed the wrong way with Lincoln Riley, is that um, he comes off as a little soft. I think just in terms of what he says to the media, how he relates to his players and things like that. I think the softness, and just me personally, again, like, I'm not absolutely not calling for anyone to get fired or anything like that, but I think for me, coming off of a loss, and his top two comments were upset with Aranda over kicking a late field goal, upset with the officials for not throwing a penalty for storming the field. That's It's a little weak to me. That's I don't think that's the flex that I probably would have had as a coach coming off of that game, like talking, hey, players didn't play good. We need to play better. We need to coach better. But you're talking about someone kicking a field goal late in the game, which, I mean, when you understand the reason why he did it, like, in the moment, it doesn't make a ton of sense. But I mean, Lincoln did this a few years ago. Oklahoma. This is Jalen Hurts' year. Oklahoma beat Baylor, I think, 66-33. Maybe a year before that. Um, Oklahoma's up 63-33. A minute and a half remaining, and Lincoln kicks a field goal. So, I mean, you only go back so far. So I think that's a lot of the issues with Lincoln, is just kind of the softness that he's kind of, that what looks like he's embodied as the culture at Oklahoma.
yeah, it is a bit strange that, okay, your team has underachieved all season. They're winning games, so let's give them credit, but underachieving based on the standard that everyone can see with the eye test. And finally, now you've lost a game, and you've lost by 2 scores, and you were clearly outplayed, and you're focused on and concerned with the other team kicking a field goal, which does not affect or impact in any way or doesn't address the concerns on your team that has led to substandard play the entire season and now finally a loss, regardless of who storms the field or who kicks field goals at the end of the game, you're walking away from this stadium in this situation in a few minutes and you're taking a team back to Oklahoma. That's should be your focus.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, Mark, for me, if I'm a player and I listen to that, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, what what they're thinking, as far as that goes. I mean, I guess in one respect, I'm being protected to a certain degree, but at the same time, I think I would be like, we need to be better if we don't want a team kicking a field goal on us to make it a 14-point game. Like, I mean, if it's a 30-point game, yeah, maybe I can get behind it a little bit, but we got to be better. If we don't want that to happen, we need to be better. I mean, I think at the end of the day, and so I don't know. I mean, we started the season with the kind of the culture issue with some of those players taking their equipment off, thinking the game was over. Then they had to get retaped and getting back into the game. So I just think this culture thing that Oklahoma's got going on is just it's becoming bad, just for the program, just in general. And uh, like I said, I mean, I said this in our post game that we did on Monday, but Oklahoma State right now is the team, which I don't think anybody would have ever said this, and I don't think it's maybe not ever been said, but Oklahoma State is the team that Oklahoma wanted to be, or to saw themselves being this year. Both got off to a slow start, which that happens. That's fine, but they caught they got their stride now, and they are playing excellent on both sides of the ball. Playing just, I mean, they were just dominant against TCU, against Saturday. Defensively, the best defense in the Big 12. Very physical, running the ball well. Quarterback is still maybe not completely trustworthy, but still he's playing good enough right now for them to win. So I think Oklahoma's looking at that and saying, at least maybe fans are looking at that like, this is what we thought we would be. This is where we thought we would be headed in the last couple of games of the season. So at the first of the year we thought, or at least me thought, I mean, Oklahoma would be, when we were talking about, does Oklahoma go undefeated or do they not? They'll be a favorite in every game. They're absolutely not going to be a favorite in Bedlam. If they're a 4-point pick at home against Iowa State, to be.
Hopefully we still have Jason. I believe we do. There we go.
Oh,
I think
sorry.
you're back.
Sorry
You
about
just
that.
froze up there for about 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. So it's like I said, I don't know where I got dropped, but yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State is going to be a favorite going into that Bedlam game, the last game of the year, and this is incredibly important for Oklahoma to how they finish this season in terms of what this trajectory is. If they lose these last two games, they're not making the championship game, the Big 12 championship game. So they're right there with Clemson in terms of missing kind of that streak coming to an end. And not only do they not make the playoffs if they lose these last couple of games, they're not even in the New Year's Six bowl likely. So I think it's incredibly important for this program to be able to finish the right way. I don't know if they have the ability to at this point based on how the season has gone, but I think it's going to be very important for them to do everything they can to right the ship.